Welcome to week one of Teams and Virtual Teams. I'm Luann Powell, and you guys were introduced to me during the introduction video. You've also received from me an invitation to the Teams app, and just be sure and answer that and be a part of that team. If you hear a little drip over here, we've had some rain here in Jackson, and that's rain coming down my gutter. But I'm sitting here on my front porch. Decided to do the video out here because it's Memorial Day, and my husband's in there watching a World War II movie, and I thought it'd be more interesting to be out on my front porch than actually sitting in my house. And I think he's watching D-Day? No, he's actually watching Battle of the Bulge. So we watched Saving Private Ryan this morning. So he's a huge World War II enthusiast, and the reason his father was in World War II and actually a prisoner of war. 2 years ago, we were fortunate enough to go visit the area where his father was stationed. We couldn't go to where he was shot down because that is actually in part of Poland right now, but we were able to go to the air station where he was located. So just a little history and a little bit more about me, because this week is all about introductions, and you will have a discussion forum where you're going to be able to introduce yourself. I'll also put up information about myself, and it's going to be, there's 25 of us in the class, so we're full. So we should have some rich discussions. And I'll tell you, that's where people mess up the most on their grading, is not putting enough content in their discussion post, and all I require is one response. Some professors require two, but since we're going to have a full class, we'll just do one response. But it means you're going to have to read, and just don't take the next post down, but read through people's introductions. I've got in there also to find out if somebody has a commonality with you and respond to that. You will have lectures throughout the class, and these are PowerPoints that I have lectured over the top of. So if you will watch those, you can take notes from those, because they will be included in the final test. And yes, I do give a test, and that always freaks people out, but it's open note, open book. It's at the week 8, and that's all you'll have to do. There'll be, like I said, other videos that go along with it, not just PowerPoints, but just interesting information. Some that I consider kind of humorous. Some just explaining the Hawthorne studies, because I'll lecture on it, but it's always good to see how those studies were developed. There's a lot of organizational behavior also that goes in with the class. Excuse me, you can tell that I'm outside and the humidity's up. We'll talk about groups. It's mainly about groups this week, and it's introductions and foundations of group behavior. Because what happens in teams, we can't really get to teams without talking about groups and how those interact. So we start with groups, and then we'll move into teams. But again, we will have a lot of information. I posted your syllabus. I sent you an email that has that. You also had a welcome video from me, but you will have an invitations to the Teams app, and be sure and respond to that as well, because I'll communicate with you guys over that, and then that's going to be an app that you'll use whenever I divide you up into teams around midterm, that we'll do that. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. The best way to reach me is by email, lpowell@uu.edu, and you can also call my office. It's 731-661-5163. I will be back in the office permanently, I hope, June the 8th. We're still here working from home. So, and that's been an interesting phenomenon. And for me, especially teaching teams, just how appropriate it is at this point in time, because of teaching everything virtually, because we've had to adapt and become much more virtual in everything that we do, from our meetings to our communication with students to registration. It's just run the gamut of what we've had to do to adapt. But I look forward to having each and every one of you in class. This is a fun class. It's a very hands-on class. I like to say front-loaded, because most of your lectures will be in the first half of the class, and then we will move toward the back end of the class more into application. So you'll have a lot of application and a lot of actually forming teams, being part of the team, actually meeting as a team. That will be one of your assignments as well, is to be part of a virtual team. Again, I look forward. We're going to have a great time throughout these 8 weeks. If you have any questions, just send them over to me. You can also, if you don't want to put in the Teams app, if you don't want to do to the entire team, you can just send me a personal chat and we can talk and I can answer any questions that you have. All right, you guys I hope you had a great Memorial Day. I hope just remembering what the men and women who've served to give us the freedom that we have, and the gratitude in our hearts for that. But do your homework. Watch your lectures, do your discussion posts, read your syllabus. Oh my goodness, that's the most important thing for you to do. Read it, understand it, and then contact me if you have any questions. Welcome to Teams, and we're going to have a great 8 weeks.